Good afternoon, gamers. We're here for more games of the Super Metroid Randomizer variety. This time we got a extra special game for you today. Got a randomizer match between Lenofis and Antinomy, aka Sephi, aka Sephinomi, aka other names that I can't repeat on broadcast. This ought to be a fun race. I'm your host, I guess. Am I hosting this? We'll say I'm hosting this, because that's the easiest. Oh my goodness, Sephi's timer is wild. Note that I will probably mainly just refer to the person on the right as Sephi. So if somebody asks who Sephi is, it's antinomy, antinomy, however you want to say it. It seems his numbers are upside down, so that surely won't cause any problems. So, of course, this is the Super Metroid Item Randomizer League. And this is week 5. This week we are doing Major Minor Boss Rando. So Major Minor, pretty standard randomizer. If you've seen Super Metroid before, it hasn't changed in like 5 years. Or at least the general logic hasn't changed in like 5 years. Of course, Boss Rando is a little bit more interesting. All of the bosses, not necessarily all of the bosses, but the bosses are going to be shuffled. So we will see some bosses in non-vanilla locations. And of course, since some of the bosses do have to be randomized, that does alter how the runners are forced to approach the seed, since checks that would normally be unlocked by killing certain bosses won't open naturally, since there will be different bosses at that location. It's fun. Trust me. Looks like we got a pretty nice start. Getting an early super missile and an early power bomb pack, plus the E-tank, making things a little bit healthier. Obviously, would have been great. I think like the best possible start would have been if that was like high jump or speed booster or something, some kind of movement item. I think that item can technically be plasma beam as well. I don't know if it can be charged though. Not 100% sure how Varia Rando works for the first couple items. But regardless, this is a very good start. Interestingly, despite all of the early, or despite getting an early super and early power bomb, Lenofis is actually going to check the behind morph minor item. Just wants to get some extra minors early on. I imagine we'll see him checking the Old Mother Brain location, which Sephi opted to skip. I doubt he'll check 230. That's a much more time-consuming check. And you don't want to spend too much time, checking singular minor items, especially once you already have enough to get through the early game. Does get a super missile below Old Mother Brain, which is nice. Getting a high early super missile count can be very helpful. And there's Wave Beam at Bomb Terizo. So that's interesting. Having that early firepower upgrade is definitely nice, especially since it's specifically Wave Beam. For somebody who spends a lot of time running any percent, which Sephi does, having that early Wave Beam is kind of a comfort zone for him. That's generally the equipment you'll have for a pretty good portion of both any percent routes. So, well, immediately gets the Spazer, so I guess scratch that, but having Wave Spazer early on is also very good. Just having a lot of firepower increase. Sephi, a noted Spazer disliker, a little bit unhappy that that item showed up there, but he's got it now. There's nothing he can do about it unless he wants to full reset. And he is not going to opt to do that, not surprisingly. So, pretty cozy start, all things considered. The runners have a nice beam combo to get through most of the areas in the game. They've got an E-tank. Still would like some more movement items, and obviously a suit, but can't get too greedy with the first few item checks alone. We'll see what this item here is. Just another E-tank at the Brinstar Reserve. A lot of super missiles, though. There was one under the bridge, and now there's one behind the reserve. So that brings Sephi's total to 15. Leno also picked up the one under Old Motherbrain, which puts him to 20. Generally, regardless of how early you find Charge Beam, you want to have about 30 supers just in order to have a comfortable Ridley fight. 30 super missiles will allow you to kill Ridley using only super missiles. There's another one at early supers, so very super rich seed so far. But having all those early super missiles will allow them to have a comfortable Ridley fight. They still need Various Suit to have Ridley be in logic, and without Various Suit, they would need a lot of E-tanks, and preferably Gravity Suit, because they couldn't really take more than one hit, even with the Gravity Suit. If they take a hit with just Power Suit on Ridley, they're pretty much screwed unless they have tons of E-tanks. And remember, this is boss Rando, so there is a chance that Ridley just shows up at grade. There's the Various Suit. So now, if Ridley shows up at grade, not only do they have the Various Suit to survive, as we see Sephi's suit turn a nice... I don't know if nice is the right word, but it turns very white, that's for sure. But not only do they have the Various Suit to survive Ridley, but they almost have enough ammo to kill Ridley, so it is possible we see a very early Ridley kill for both of our runners. Or at least one of our runners. And so, we'll see what is contained in the rest of Brinstar. They aren't able to check the waterway just yet, but they do have the wave gate and the charge beam checks open, as well as a few more minor items just to get them to that 30 super count. Interesting that Sephi's skipping that missile when he only has 5 missiles, but that's okay. Also interesting that Leno actually went down. I don't know if he went down here on purpose or not, but is picking up this Etikun Powerbomb item. And it is just a missile, so if that was intentional, then the play not really paying off. Looks like he skipped the Etikun Super as well. Okay, actually, that was definitely an accident. He doesn't have Varia. It looks like he just fell down there and didn't have the reactions to jump up the crumble blocks. So that's a little bit rough, but Leno should get it this time. Now that he's thinking about it, that was still pretty close, but he got it. Meanwhile, we do have Grapple Beam at the Wave Gate, and there's Sephi's 30th Super Pack, so he's ready to fight Ridley. Even gets another E-Tank just to make the fight a little bit healthier. Doesn't have any movement items to really dodge Ridley's attacks effectively, but with 30 supers, it's actually a very quick Ridley kill, as long as you land all your ammo, so not something he needs to be super worried about. And there's another super pack. What is happening with this seed? So many super missiles. Leno a little bit behind because of that slip up in the Etikun area, is going to be picking up all these items that we just saw Sephi pick up. Sephi, meanwhile, got that grapple beam from this Wavegate location, is able to check X-ray, so we're going to see him do that before deciding whether or not to go up or down. I would say in boss Rando, because you're not actually guaranteed to get wreck ship access with the boss at wreck ship because it might not be Fantoon. Generally, it's better to go down, especially when you have Various Suit, which opens up easy access to Norfair. I would say generally the play here is to go down, but I've been surprised before. Sephi might go up, just for the memes. Leno might go up, just because he might feel like he's behind against Sephi, who's a very strong runner in both Randomizer and the vanilla game. His execution is very good, and his random knowledge is definitely up to par with a lot of the other players in the league. Definitely a scary opponent, as is the rest of his team, the Goodboys. Although, I don't think they're actually doing very well in the league right now. But they are still a scary team, despite the fact that they got owned by like the Route Rando week and other fancy weeks that this season of the Rando League has brought to us. And there's the charge beam at Spazer. So the owner's actually getting fairly close to having everything they need to beat the game. That gives them access, or rather, that gives them the ability to beat the final boss with that charge beam. And honestly, it's a pretty comfortable beam combo. With Charge Wave Spazer, that's about 80 shots, which isn't the most comfortable, but it's definitely doable, especially when you're supplementing it with plenty of super missiles. So they just need some way to get through Meridia. And that includes Botwoon, of course. Actually, that doesn't necessarily include Botwoon, because if Dragon is at a different location than Vanilla, it actually opens up the Cack Alley that you can enter from the Plasma side, which allows you to skip through Botwoon and actually make it to Dragon without speed or ice. So theoretically, if they find Gravity Suit, then they are just straight up go mode. And so Sephi actually making a big gamble here, not saving before this boss. And it is Dragon. So, like I said, he has enough ammo to kill Ridley. Also has plenty of ways to kill Dragon. He has Grapple Beam rather, and he has a lot of super missiles. But it is going to be very difficult for him to get out of the fight. He is going to have to do a grapple jump off of the dead turrets. And remember, when you're grappling onto those turrets, your health is constantly getting drained. So he only has a limited number of attempts to escape this room, plus not having high jump makes things a little bit trickier. So this is going to be kind of tough from Sephi. We'll see if he's able to pull it off. He's... I'm not sure what he's doing here. I don't know why he's skipping the item. He's... Okay, yeah, he remembers. Wait a minute. There's an item back here. I need that. We'll see if he actually does need it. Remember, it can't be Gravity Suit, but it can be something good. In this case, it's just an E-Tank. In a way, I kind of like the play to skip it, just since it can't be Gravity Suit. It's not a terrible decision to just not pick up the item. But obviously, it can be High Jump, it can be Speed Booster. Any of these movement items will help them a lot. And Sephi deciding that he does not want to skip a potential good item. Unfortunately, is just rewarded with an E-Tank and now has to pull off this grapple jump again. So a little bit punished, but he should be fine. He got it first try last time, so he should get it. And there he goes. Nicely executed grapple jump from Antinomy. And of course he gets placed back in Kraid's lair, so he doesn't have to do any of the other fancy stuff to get out of the Precious Room. So we're going to see a nice high five at the beginning of this mini Kraid room. Of course, the Kraid E-Tank is not open since Kraid has not been defeated yet, so that item check is not able to be made. So I imagine we'll just see Sephi go down into Norfair. He's got the Varia suit, and there are a lot of checks in Upper Norfair. I believe 7? And it's not a huge area, so you can do all of the checks pretty quickly. Looks like Lenophis is actually going to reset at Dragon. Might not be as comfortable with the grapple escape out of Dragon. It's not a trick that's in logic. You're intended to have Gravity Suit before Dragon is required by these seeds. So it's not a bad decision to just reset there. He'll be back as soon as he gets Gravity Suit, most likely. And assuming Gravity Suit is in Norfair, that shouldn't actually put him too far behind, since he'll probably just kill the boss on his way back up. If that's how the seed plays out, of course. It's technically possible that Gravity Suit and High Jump are both somewhere else. Like, for example, it could be in Rex Ship with Fantoon being vanilla. And so all of those Fantoon item checks are able to be done. So it is possible that the runners don't find anything of value here in Upper Norfair, but it is very unlikely, especially with the boss Rando not guaranteeing that anything can be logically accessed at Rex Ship in the first place. Also, as chat pointed out, shoutouts to Sephi with the Iceless Ice Escape. That's definitely not an easy trick there. We see an X-ray scope there. Sephi deciding to skip it. Leno, enticed by the possibility of finding plasma and getting that full microwave combo, is going to take it. I don't dislike either play. I think it comes down to personal preference, and I also wouldn't be surprised if Sephi finds plasma. He technically has the ability to go back and get it. Although with Dragon dead, one of the 2 bosses that you can microwave isn't even alive anymore, so probably no point in getting that X-ray now. But it is still available to him, should he choose to go back for it. So the hunt for Gravity Suit begins. Now, if Sephi doesn't find Gravity Suit or High Jump, I would not be surprised if he goes into Lower Norfair anyways. He is definitely capable of doing the High Jumpless Lava Dive. I don't know how comfortable he is with it, but he has definitely done it before. And it wouldn't be a terrible play, since they don't know what boss is there. They know it's not Dragon, but any of the other bosses could be at that location. So, but even if it's Ridley, Sephi has a lot of super missiles, 40 already, max supers, might get more here. Still rocking the 5 normal missiles. Maybe a little bit less optimal, but, you know. I'd like to see him pick up one more, just so he has a little bit more comfortable Mother Brain 1 ammo. But, you know, he can do what he wants to do, I suppose. And High Jumpless Lava Dive is not in logic with the difficulty used in the Randomizer League. So, once again, if Sephi were to go into Lower Norfair, it would be completely out of logic. Unless he finds High Jump or Gravity, of course. Even then, I don't know if he has a logical way to get through worst room in the game. I don't think the wall jump is in logic. But it is definitely something that Sephi is capable of, I think. And so far, not much of value being in the Bubble Mountain area. We still have Rex Ship Reserve as well as the 2 items at Crocomire, but we haven't found Gravity, we haven't found High Jump, and we haven't found any of the other items that would put Suitless in logic either. Especially since Suitless, like if Suitless was in logic, it wouldn't count the fact that Dragon's been defeated because Dragon was done out of order. So the runners would have to get past Botwoon. And obviously full Suitless isn't in logic anyways, it's only in logic up to Botwoon E-Tank. So regardless, they would need high jump and then either ice or spring ball in order for that to be in logic. And once again, another E-Tank at the Norfair Reserve item. I think I said Wreck Ship Reserve earlier. My apologies for any confusion. So Bubble Mountain was a bust, and we'll see if Sephi heads into Crocmire or decides to bail and bet on Wreck Ship. At this point, it's looking very likely that the Wreck Ship check opens something, whether it's Fantoon and opens the ship, or it's Crate and it opens a good item at the Crate E-Tank. One of those two is definitely looking possible, and it looks like, as I mentioned, Sephi is on his way to Lower Norfair. Remember, it's either high jump or gravity will be the item that gives him access to Lower Norfair in logic. So one of those two could be in Lower Norfair, but not both. So we'll see if he can execute this high jumpless lava dive. Doesn't get a great entry. The fireball shoots a little bit too early. So he's going to have to set it up at the bottom of the lava pit, which is a lot trickier. This looks good, but didn't commit to it. Was kind of scared away by the fireballs on the left. That was a good fireball. He had it. He had the Kago, or he was set up to get the Kago through the fireball. Unfortunately, missed it. This attempt looks good, though. Just barely doesn't wall jump that little edge of the wall that you need to wall jump off of to get the high jumpless lava dive. Unfortunately, misses the Kago once and misses the wall jump at the top once. Looks like he is going to keep trying it, though. It looks like he's getting his health below 50, and then he's going to Crystal Flash. Perfectly done. Exactly 49 energy. And Leno also not betting on Croc. He's going up to the ship. This is very interesting, and as somebody who generally does early Croc more often than you're supposed to, a little bit sad. I like the play. I think it's generally good. Once again, Sephi not quite getting a perfect entry into the high jumpless lava dive. Alright, he got the Kago. He's cutting the wall jump too early. He's trying to take the wall jump a little bit too tight. And because of that, he's not actually wall jumping. He is going to get it this time, though. So he does get through the high jumpless lava dive. It was not pretty, but he makes it through. And he's still not saving, by the way. He has not saved, I believe, at all in Norfair. So this is definitely a confidence play from Sephi. I'm having a lot of trouble, meanwhile, with this single wall jump. Not what you like to see, but he gets up as he heads on over to the wreck ship. Now, the wreck ship E-Tank, not the wreck ship E-Tank, the wreck ship save station is active before the ship is active in Boss Rando, just so you can more easily save before checking the boss. So if it's a boss that you aren't able to defeat, you can reset to a nicer save point, which personally is a change that I'm not a huge fan of, but that's okay. Definitely makes things a lot easier as somebody running the seat, regardless of how you feel about whether or not it should be done, or how many vanilla changes should be done to the seed. Meanwhile, Sephi didn't actually check the screw attack location, but does get the wall jump up worst room in the game without high jump. That is a frame perfect wall jump that requires pixel-perfect positioning. And he gets it in not too many tries, actually. It took him about 30 seconds to get it, which is not bad at all, considering we've seen people lose races trying to get that. Let's put it that way. That's not a joke. People have done that for an entire race and lost. It is a difficult trick. So Sephi is going to check the Fire Flea room. It is just an E-Tank, but considering his health is a little bit low, it took him a few tries on the high jumpless lava dive and hasn't exactly been super conservative with his health since then. Is just going to take that E-Tank for the refill. Meanwhile, we are seeing Kraid at the Fantoon location. So like I said, this does open up two items. The item behind Kraid is going to be picked up by Leno, and it also gives him access to the Kraid E-Tank. So if either of those are gravity, then Leno is in a very good position. Fortunately, it's just another E-Tank behind Kraid, so one of those two items was a bust. And I know we've seen a lot of E-Tanks, but we have not seen a lot of reserve tanks, and there is still a possibility that a reserve tank could show up anywhere. So if there's a reserve at Wreckship, or not Wreckship E-Tank, at Kraid E-Tank, things might be looking pretty dire for Leno. Although, once again, it depends on what's at Croc and whether or not Sephi checks Croc before leaving Norfair. Remember, this boss at Lower Norfair will be either Ridley or Fantoon. And if it's Ridley, it is going to be a bit tricky for Sephi, especially with this ammo. Doesn't have as many supers as he maybe would like to have. Would have to rely on the charge wave spazer shots, which don't do a whole lot of damage to Ridley. He needs, I believe, 80 of those. Actually, I think it's like 86, because it's the one beam that doesn't round evenly into 18,000, which is the health of Ridley and Mother Brain. But 86 shots, not counting ammo, to Ridley, if that's the boss at this location. And so Leno is going down. Interestingly, didn't opt to check Gauntlet on his way out of Wreckship. That could be high jump or speed booster. Both of those would be quite nice. Obviously, it can't be gravity suit because the logic will not put suits in criteria. But still could have been a nice item. Leno opting not to pick it up. Doesn't know that even in Lower Norfair, there's still nothing but E-Tanks so far in the seed. We actually do see Sephi farming for 30 supers before Ridley, so he does want to get that comfortable Ridley ammo. Looks like he's going to enter with 29, 28. Should still be fine, and it looks like it's Fantoon anyways. So a little bit punished. Plus, only having 10 missiles means he doesn't really have a great chance at getting a good Doppler in. Generally, you'll see people in any percent pick up 15 just to make the Fantoon fight a bit easier, because doing a 2-round Doppler with only 10 missiles is very difficult. You just don't have enough ammo to do it consistently. Still set up for a nice 3-round Doppler and a very nice air Doppler there from Sephi. Gets a mid. Unfortunately, doesn't have too many missiles right now. And there's the gravity suit at Kraid E-Tank. That's real big for Leno. We'll see where he decides to take this gravity suit. If he's going straight down into Lower Norfair, or if he's going into Meridia. But Sephi will not have that gravity suit for a good amount. At the minimum, he will have to go all the way from the bottom of the map in Lower Norfair all the way up to the ship to fight Kraid, and then he'll have to go halfway back down to check the Kraid E-Tank to get that gravity suit. And remember, he does not have the items to do suitless Meridia. He has the grapple beam, but does not have high jump, doesn't have ice or spring ball, and would need one of those two items plus high jump in order to make it through Meridia in logic. Preferably would need spring ball because he doesn't really have a good way out of the precious room otherwise. So he would need spring ball, ice beam, and high jump. And unfortunately, there aren't that many item checks left. He skipped the screw attack location. Of course, actually, he couldn't actually check it without a save because he would have no way out. So my apologies for missing that earlier. But regardless, he skipped the check, and he has Croc left. But there's only 2 items there, and he needs 3 in order to do suitless Meridia comfortably. Interestingly, Leno is also, or I can't say also because I don't know for sure if Sephi's going to be checking Croc, but Leno is at Crocomire right now. He isn't quite comfortable with his loadout going into Lower Norfair, although he does have the gravity suit. He doesn't have a good way through worst room in the game. Not having space jump, not having high jump, both of those would help immensely in worst room in the game, and neither of those are in his possession at the moment. So he is opting to check the Crocomire items. There's our first reserve tank. Surprised it took so long to find that. And also chat pointing out that Leno didn't actually go kill Dragon yet. He had that check open to him as soon as he picked up the gravity suit, but instead opted to leave Kraid's lair. And so we'll see. I imagine he'll get it on his way out of Lower Norfair. Hopefully he remembers that it's there, by the way. Because if not, that would be pretty tragic. Does need to do the reverse grapple escape, so we'll need to open up with this gate glitch. Having a little bit of trouble with it right now, but he has a lot of attempts at it, and there is a farm right above him if he misses it too many times. Gets it first try. I wasn't counting. The runners do not have access to waterway. They need speed booster. The only thing that's technically in logical access for Leno is Meridia. And with just another E-Tank at Crocomire, it looks like Meridia is the place to be. Unless Leno wants to commit to this no high jump, no space jump, Lower Norfair like Sephi did. Which I would not blame him for not doing. Like, let's be clear with that. That is not comfortable at all. Even if he has an easy way to actually get into Lower Norfair with the gravity suit, able to do the gravity jump instead of the lava dive, it's still not very comfortable. And so we will see where Leno decides to go. Sephi getting a bit cleaner green gate glitch there. Okay, so Leno is taking this save. I think what he's going to do is he's actually going to go to Lower Norfair. He's going to go all the way to Screw Attack. Actually, he might just be saving for safety on the... Well, saving for safety on the gravity jump seems a little odd to me. But what I'm thinking is he's actually going to go all the way to the Screw Attack location, and if it's something that doesn't allow him access, or doesn't give him a way out of Screw Attack, and therefore a good way through worst room in the game, he's just going to reset and go to Meridia. Like, he can reset back to that save. It puts him right by the elevator from Norfair to Brinstar, which puts you right next to the Meridia entry. And I believe that would be the play from there. We'll see if he decides to save after the gravity jump and destroy my expectations. Nope, he's going down. Yes, and to answer chat's question, this should really be put on the layout. I don't know why. I think the admins should get on that. Not me, of course. I'm just here to complain about things, not actually fix them. But this is boss rando. All of the bosses are actually randomized in this seed. Kraid had Dragon. Ridley had Fantoon. Fantoon had Kraid. And so Dragon is going to have Ridley. We haven't actually seen anyone make it that far into Meridia yet, but that is where that is. And I didn't see what was at that location for Leno, but whatever it was, he reset, so it was not something that got him out of the room. It was an E-tank. I want to say that might be every single E-tank, but if not, it's close. We've seen at least 12. Plus 1 reserve. And Leno doing as I predicted, just gonna bail on that play and go into Meridia. Hopefully he remembers to kill Dragon first. Because if he doesn't, then he won't actually be able to make it all the way through Meridia. And killing Dragon also opens up the Plasma check. And Plasma could be his high jump or his space jump, one of the two. Still is not going to kill Dragon. And at this point, you have to think he probably forgot that it's there. Because he's gotten to the point where it's actively detrimental for him not to be going to Dragon right now. We'll see what he finds at Mama's Hurdle, and we'll see if he continues deeper into Meridia from there. Without killing Dragon, he does have Shack Tool, and he has the Meridia Reserve in left sandpit. Both of those checks are open. There's Plasma Beam. He'll take that. But still not what he's looking for. Zephy actually has all of these checks in Rex ship open. Look at this. He's killed Fantoon because it was at Ridley. There's bombs. Not the best item. I imagine he's just going straight down to the boss. But this might actually mean there is a possibility that he full clears Rex ship, which would actually be a huge mistake because none of this is in logic, or none of this can logically be his progression into Meridia because he didn't have progression to get to Lower Norfair yet. So like he won't find gravity, obviously. I don't think he can find high jump either. And we just saw Plasma, so he's not finding that. I don't know if I like the play to really check too many Rex ship locations. He has only checked the right side super so far, which was just right there and obviously could have been something good. But if he decides to check more of Rex ship, I will be very sad. Leno making the trek to the left sandpit. We'll see if this is high jump or space jump. It won't be bombs because we just saw bombs in Rex ship. Looks like that was a reserve tank. No, that's Spring Ball, that gets him out. That gets him through worst room in the game. It's not super comfortable, but it's doable. The Spring Ball Go mode. And yeah, Sephi is checking more of Lower Norfair. Or not of Lower Norfair, of Wreck Ship. I guess it can be high jump. It can be all those movement items in Wreck Ship, since Spring Ball does give you access through worst room in the game in logic. I believe. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong there. So far, it's just more E-Tanks. That might be the 14th. I don't know. I haven't been keeping track very well. And Leno, once again, not going to Dragon. I think he's finally remembered, though. Yeah, okay. He's going to Dragon. Thank goodness. Will have a nice way to kill him. Does have the charge plasma X-ray. So an even nicer than the grapple kill, we'll be able to do the microwave beam on Dragon, which will be a very quick kill. We'll get to check the item, find that it's yet another E-Tank. I believe that item was. And then we'll be sad, but he'll be sad with Dragon dead, which is a better situation than you could be in. Interestingly, Sephi not even going to bother checking what's behind, or what's at the Wreck Ship Reserve location. He doesn't have any way to access it without the speed booster. Leno not quite getting the first X-ray beam successfully. Does get the second one, though. Luckily is able to get that second beam shot in before the first swoop completes. So Leno has a nice Dragon fight. He'll have a much easier exit out of the room by using a gravity jump. Yeah, is going to pick up that E-Tank. He actually hasn't found that many E-Tanks yet. Or if he has, he's been skipping a few. Not sure which. And there's Space Jump for Sephi. Huh. So he still hasn't found any of the items he needs for Suitless. We'll see if he goes down to create E-Tank or if he goes to check Gauntlet first. It looks like he's going to Gauntlet, and at this point, it feels like this has to be a major item. Obviously, it's not going to be a suit, but Ice Beam's on the cards, High Jump is on the cards, Speed Booster is actually on the cards as well, and if Speed Booster is there, that would actually bait Sephi into probably checking Waterway as well. So, hopefully for his sake, this isn't going to be Speed Booster. As Leno once again makes the descent towards Lower Norfair. I think he probably would have rather done Meridia in one go, but unfortunately forgetting about that Dragon meant that he didn't have a way to get all the way through Meridia, so had to bail. And now is unfortunately just going to have to come back to the area at some point. And if I saw that correctly, I think that was our 14th E-Tank at Gauntlet. But at this point, I have no clue. There's been so many. The only items left are basically all the movement items and 3 reserves. And Ice Beam, I suppose. But you could argue Ice Beam is a movement item, honestly. I would be all for that argument. Forgotten Highway is not doable without high jump, no. I learned that last week, actually. So Sephi was headed that direction. Unfortunately, or I guess fortunately, realized that he was not able to do that, and so he is going to bail. And the good news for Sephi is that there's really only one item left. It is just the E-Tank at Kraid. That gives him Gravity Suit. Gravity Suit lets him go all the way through Meridia, and that will lead him to the end of the seed. And remember, since he's killed Dragon, he doesn't actually need Speed or Ice, since he can actually just go up the tube into the pre-plasma area, the plasma spark room specifically, and then go through the alley into the last boss area. So as soon as he finds gravity, he's in go mode. And honestly, despite the adventure he's been on, I think he's still in the lead due to Leno not quite having a super comfortable routing, forgetting about the Dragon fight that he skipped a couple times. Plus, Sephi having a really clean lower Norfair with no movement items. That shouldn't be something we take for granted. That was very impressive. Even though it didn't reward him with any good items, it is still it was a very nice play that allowed him to do all of Norfair in a single trip. And so even though the rest of his routing has been kind of rough, not having to go back to Norfair has actually been a very nice boon for Sephi. And I don't want to call it before it's over, but looks like he may be taking that all the way to the finish line. Kind of surprised he's even going this way, actually. I think it might be faster, especially with Space Jump, just to go along the sewers instead of going all the way up to Mount Everest and then going down through the sandpit. I suppose this does allow him to check the left sandpit should he want to, but I don't know why he would. Oh, I think he's just not thinking about it. He's going to go up to Botwoon, and he's going to be like, wait a minute. Alright, where does he realize? Alright, now he realizes it. He's like, ah heck, what do I do? And hopefully he remembers that Dragon is dead, so he has access to the CAC alley from the other side, as well as access to Plasma. Looks like he entered the left sandpit though. That worries me. Is he going to Shack Tool? There's a possibility he goes to Shack Tool, and I don't know if I'm ready for it. You see Leno also getting to use that microwave beam on Fantoon in lower Norfair, so gets to speed up that fight as well. I believe that was a 1 round, and I think it was a mid, but I wasn't really watching too closely. Alright, so Sephi, where is he headed? He didn't check Mama Turtle. I imagine he's going to go there. He's going to find Plasma, I believe, and he is going to be very confused. And so I wonder where he goes from there. At this point, I have to imagine he doesn't realize Cat Alley is open. Just like I kind of had to figure that Leno forgot about Dragon for a while. I think both of the runners are kind of falling victim to the biggest thing in Boss Rando is just that it's different, right? There's a lot of nuances that, unless you're actively running Boss Rando, you aren't really going to realize, like, oh, yeah, I killed Dragon, so that means things in Meridia are open to me. And like, oh, I picked up the Kraid E-Tank item. That doesn't mean the boss at Kraid is dead. A lot of really weird situations that don't come up in any other Rando. Or rather, don't come up in normal boss randos, I suppose. Or randomizers with vanilla bosses, that is to say. So Sephi making the trek. Does he go up? Yes. He is not going to Shack Tool. Thank goodness. I think he's still in the lead, and I favor his execution over Leno's. But it is closer than it was before. That's for sure. Sephi should have no problems with Ridley, of course. Having the charge wave plasma will be a 24-shot Ridley, as well as a 24-shot Mother Brain. Both of those should be pretty easy. Leno's actually looking for a third power bomb pack so that he's able to get through Mother Brain quicker. Or rather, get through the Metroid rooms quicker, since it is possible that he would need to completely leave Turian and refill his power bombs. Oh, interesting that he hasn't checked this location yet. He actually will get a power bomb here. There is a power bomb in this room, that's right. Crazy. Also, we'll get another E-Tank. No complaints there, I imagine, although he'd much rather get anything else. So, the interesting question here is, does Sephi even bother with the item behind Ridley? So obviously, it can be high jump and speed, which would be nice, and it could be ice, which would actually be very nice. It's just a reserve tank. I'm not surprised with that, considering I think the odds are, like, it was a 50-50 chance between being ice, high jump speed, or a reserve. I think we've seen one reserve already. I don't know exactly how many locations there are, though. I'd have to think about it. We'll also be able to check, depending on which way he takes out of Meridia, we'll be able to check the Botwooni tank item. So, at this point, that item is statistically likely to be a movement item or ice. So remember, there's only so many checks left, and one of them is speed locked. But it is just another reserve. So what does that leave us with? Plasma, Shack Tool, Waterway. Is that it? Are all three of those high jump, ice, and speed? Did I not count one of the reserve tanks? Oh yeah, Wreck Ship Reserve. Okay, so there's 4 locations, and 3 of them are items. 2 of them are speed locked. So speed is either at Plasma or Shack Tool. And then one of the 3 remaining locations, or one of the 4 locations, I guess, is a reserve. And then high jump and ice are both hidden somewhere as well. So yeah, really mean seed, I suppose, in terms of movement items. Seffi got an out of logic space jump, and that's about it in terms of movement. And Leno is going to Shack Tool. He doesn't have the space jump, so he does not have a good way up this little gap at all. Is actually going to get a very nice gravity jump. That was actually, like, this play is kind of a disaster. Leno probably forgetting that he has access through Meridia, but that gravity jump was extremely impressive. That is not easy. Unfortunately, now he gets to wait for Shack Tool, and whatever he finds will probably... Well, I guess there's a 50-50 chance. Well, he's not even going to finish waiting. He remembers, wait a minute, I can go through Cack Alley. So Shack Tool's item will remain a mystery. Until the end of the game, of course, once the credits reveal what the item location was. And so Seffi, not making the best pace of his career, obviously, made a couple unfortunate decisions, not checking the wreck ship location until very late, and once he got to wreck ship, checking a lot of items that couldn't be his logical progression into Meridia. And, you know, overall, not having the cleanest route ever, but is still, for the gambles that he made, is not making a terrible time. Obviously had a very impressive lower Norfair without high jump or any other way through worst room in the game. Still got the frame perfect, pixel perfect wall jump. Was able to execute very well with no movement items. And although the rest of the route didn't pan out the way he might have wanted it to, he still played he played at a very high level of execution, and sometimes that's the best you can do in Randomizer. Even here, if you go fast, you usually do good. And Seffi, pretty fast dude. Oh my, that is a baby Metroid sprite, huh? I actually haven't seen this. I've seen the rest of this skin that Seffi's been using. I have not seen the baby Metroid yet. That is terrifying. I hate it. Get it off my screen, please. Yep, and that's not the only time we will get to see the lovely baby Metroid makeover, if you will. So Seffi doesn't have a way to do the Zeb skip, doesn't have speed or ice, but he does have plenty of super missiles plus a really strong beam combo, so he'll just use super missiles to kill the Zebs, and then He'll finish off Mother Brain 2 with Charged Plasma Wave Shots. We'll see if he goes for stand-up glitch as well. You do need ice for grapple Zeb skip, because you need to get stuck in the Zeb for the grapple Zeb skip to work, which you need ice for. Or I suppose you can use speed as well, but point is, just having grapple beam doesn't give you access to Zeb skip. Steffi having a very solid Mother Brain 2. Looks like he is setting up for the stand-up glitch. Gonna turn off Varia just to make things a little bit less complicated. We see Leno grapple jumping all over Mount Everest to try to get to this door here. He's even gonna grapple jump through the door, which has the nice side effect of having a 5-second long door transition. Which, you know, sometimes you just gotta live with. As we see the return of the Sephitroid. It's back again. And about time too. This time, he's in the mood. I don't remember the rest of the words to that verse of the DK rap. He can fly real high with his jetpack on. With his pistols out, he's one tough con. Or something like that. So Mother Brain 3 is done. Wasn't the cleanest stand-up glitch of all time. Didn't have the ice beam though, so it's pretty hard to have a fully optimal ice beam. I didn't see what that sprite was for Mother Brain's head, and honestly it might be better that I didn't. But regardless, Sephi is just about at the end of the game, needs to make it through the escape without high jump or speed booster. Does have the space jump and the screw attack though, so it's a little bit of a consolation prize at least. Gonna do some nice left side wall climbing. Look at him go. He is going to finish. Spoiler alert. with an official SRL time of 1 hour 1 hour 4 minutes and 13 seconds. Excuse me, he did not didn't take him 10 minutes to dot done. Don't worry. Or maybe do worry. I can't stop you. So Leno, this was a rough seed. Even though Leno found gravity early, didn't really have a great way to get anywhere with it. So he still had a real rough time. And we are joined by the one and only Anti-Nomi. GG, how you feeling after that one?
Hate boss randomizers. They're the worst. I'm sorry to interrupt, Derpy. I care about you. I love you. I do. But oh my goodness, boss randomizers are the absolute worst. And it's all. I know it's on me because I just wasn't even bothering to like comprehend the logic or trying to understand it.
So it sounds like you're doing good.
No. Yes, I am.
Well,
yeah.
Congratulations on the dub. It was definitely interesting. Not a great seed.
I don't know. It was a mess. It scrambled. And I normally like my eggs that way, but definitely not my randos. This is the sort of thing that I just do not like about boss randos. And I guess I say that because in a way I do like, but I don't. I just say that because I'm like in my feelings right now. But I really wish the best here for Leno. GG to him for sticking it out too. I don't know, like from the audience side, from your side, Derpy, like what do you think?
Of the seed or of boss random?
Yeah, of like this seed in particular. Like what do you make of it?
I mean, it was definitely pretty trolly having the required crate at wreck ship for logical progression anywhere. And obviously, we still don't know where high jump is, or speed, or ice. So I imagine we're about to find out right here at the credits. But yeah, so Leno actually made the call to go to wreck ship much earlier than you did, but he didn't do the full no high jump lower Norfer. Actually waited until he found spring ball. So you doing a single trip Norfair gained you a lot of time, so you were able to complete it a lot faster. I'm not sure why you bothered checking all of the wreck ship items since they couldn't be your gravity suit.
They couldn't have, huh? Because that was all Fantoon and Norfair?
Yeah, so like all of that opened up by completing lower Norfair.
I don't know if I don't think I was necessarily looking for gravity at that point. I honestly just was looking for spring ball, and I was ready to crystal flash clip. I was ready to, like, mentally I was just preparing myself for like all like the worst things, because I figured if I'm gonna do bootless lava dive and obviously bootless worst room in the game, I might as well just follow through with everything. And I don't know, just I was banking on like finding high jump and spring ball, of course, and those were nowhere to be found.
Well, you did find spring ball eventually, I think.
Yeah, I did. It was in Meridia Reserve.
Yeah, we also got to see you remember that you could get to Dragon, or get to the Dragon location in real time. That was fun.
So the thing about that is, I wasn't 100% sure if that's in logic to do.
I mean,
like I know you can do it. Yeah, I just hadn't considered, like, I would have thought that they'd probably give you like access to bot wound too, but yeah, I mean, now I know.
Now we know. So that is from what I hear, that is a much needed win for Team Good Boys. And y'all have
Very
been
much needed.
down on your luck lately.
Yeah, I've let my team down. I carry all the burden. I think
Sephi is truly the. Never mind. I'm not gonna use that now.
I was starting to kind of get a little too concerned towards the end, just because of everything that I did. It was feeling good, but then after Norfair and then feeling like I'm running out of places to check, I was like, whoa, this is not good.
Yeah, fortunately, the seed was just slow. So even like Leno followed the seed pretty much to its logical progression, and even then, he still wasn't able to do a whole lot with the logic. Also, it took him a little bit to actually go back and fight Dragon, and that would have opened things up a little bit better for him.
Did something like hold him back, or is it?
Well,
just...
he couldn't make it through Meridia until he killed Dragon, so he had to look around for a while. He actually got halfway through the Shaq Tool cutscene after killing Dragon before remembering he actually had a way to just make it to the end.
Yeah, this one's definitely for the books. I recommend this one to go up so that everyone can have a shot at it, because this one was not fun.
But he does finish with an official SRL time of 1:11:08. So GG to Leno. We'll see if he joins us as well.
Hopefully so. I want to get his thoughts on this too.
Looks like he is in just a second. And there he is. GG Leno. Congratulations on the finish.
What is go mode? Like, seriously. Oh man, GG Seppi. That was a interesting one.
Good game for sure.
Did you happen to check Gauntlet by any chance?
I did, and
was it like the 15th E-Tank? Because that's all I found everywhere. It's
yeah, it was a bust. I'm pretty sure it was an E-Tank. If anything, all I know is that it was forgettable.
Yeah, it was an E-Tank.
All right. Yeah, this my routing was definitely suspect on this one.
From what Derpy says is that you follow the logic pretty well. It's just, yeah, like it gets a little, screwy when you have bosses to kind of like keep in mind, and then the doors that they open, the little gray flashy doors. Mm-hmm. I know that threw me for a loop. That's where I started to like mess up, because I was only thinking major minor, and then when I started to run out of locations to check, I was like, well, this is boss, so.
Mm-hmm. I think I did make one real big mistake in forgetting that Dragon was at Kraid, and that's why I went back up the elevator like the 4th time I was in Upper Norfair, I think. I don't remember off the top of my head. And then my first time in Lower Norfair, I was hoping for any one of Spring Ball, Bomb, Space Jump, High Jump, or Ice Beam, because that would let me go through worst room in the game. I could try the double frame perfect, pixel perfect, or is it double pixel frame perfect wall jump?
It's just one frame perfect, pixel perfect.
It's
only one.
It's just a dumb wall jump.
Yeah, that's not a wall jump I know how to do. So I'm like, okay, if I get any one of those at Screw Attack, I'll just single dip Lower Norfair. I don't even care who the boss is down here. Turns out it was Fantoon. Thanks, Fantoon. Yeah. And I feel like the routing definitely would have been better then, but and then my safety save at Meridia entrance, was not thinking that I had killed Dragon at the time, so I forgot that Forgotten Highway Plasma Route was a thing. So I went to go. So I passed that up on my way to Shack Tool. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'll just go check that on my way to, after I'm done with Shack Tool. And I'm sitting there for 5 seconds. I'm like, wait a minute, it's already open. I can just go there now. I'm actually in Go mode. I don't even know I'm in Go mode until I check Shack Tool. Yeah.
What I do like about this, although it sucks that we went through it, but in a race setting, I always feel like it's kind of nice to have it, to share it with someone else, because we can just kind of like let out our experience and everything, and it's like at least I'm not alone, and I understand like what this was.
Like, it didn't even seem like it was that bad of a siege. Just your progression was just kind of, where was it? You had to go up to Rex ship to kill Kraid, to go down back to Kraid to get the gravity suit, to go up to Meridia to get your spring ball. Like, this is a kind of a dumb chain for the logic on this one. The seed itself, I think, we're fine over that.
Classic boss Rando.
It was definitely stingy and worst room in the game logic. There was like bombs and space jump were both locked behind Fantoon, which was in Lower Norfair. Then high jump was locked behind speed, which was at Shack Tool. And so it was really just spring ball to get you through logically.
Goodness.
Practice your spring ball jumps, folks. They're not that tough, but they're a little precise. They're a little finicky. Just practice them. You'll be okay. Know how to do them.
I kind of hecked up. I did the seed entirely saveless. And I was really praying that the first boss that I ran into, going out into the crate door, wasn't Dragon, because I felt like I could get out, but I just wasn't 100%. And sure enough, it was Dragon, just to spite me. And I was like, oh, I forgot to save. And then I just committed to not saving the entire seat. It's like, all right, whatever.
Did you grapple swing your way out then?
Yeah, I did.
That's why I didn't fight Dragon. When I did, I had safety saved. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't know how to do that. I better just get out of here and come back later.
That was definitely the better choice. But yeah, GG.
Yeah, GG, Seppi. Well earned. Well played.
Anyone should have won this. Honestly, it's just. I can't wait to watch it back. I just want to see.
I'm actually
kind of
curious to see. I'm kind of curious to see chat reaction, commentary reaction, tracker reaction. I want to see this too.
That's mostly what I have in mind. But thank you so much.
Speaking of tracker reaction, shout outs to Cheaty doing the tracking. He is good at it. That's all I have to say about that.
You're not wrong about that. You're right. Also, thank you for the commentary, Derpy. It's good to have.
Problem.
Really good commentary.
I guess I saw somebody in chat ask if there's another race after this, and is there ever? We still have a lot of races in the Randomizer League going on tonight. At 7 p.m., we've got a pretty hype race we got Sloters 27 versus Stump, and our very own antinomy Sephi Nomi is going to be on the commentary there. That will be on Speed Gaming 4. 9 p.m. we've got a race. At 10 p.m. we've got a race. And at 11 p.m. we've got a race. So there's plenty of Randomizer League action going on tonight. But that is going to do it for us. Do either of y'all have any final thoughts on anything?
Yeah, I have plenty. I hate Boss Rando. No, but in all seriousness, good game again, Leno. Good luck on your future races and the rest of the Rando League.
Thank you. You too. The only thing, this is general advice. Just read the logic, do the best you can. Whatever the item gives you, expect it to be the next thing you have to do. That's kind of sound advice, I guess. It may not always work, but that's just what heckin' Rando does. Rando gonna Rando.
That is actually pretty good. I do like that. Yeah.
Yep. And so that will do it for us. I believe we've posted the link to follow all the runners and me and Cheaty already. But you can do that if you want. And if you're interested in more Rando, we'll see you at 7 p.m. Eastern. Don't go anywhere. Or do. It's on a different speed gaming channel. So go there, but nowhere else. See y'all.